Welcome to Oak Tree Stories, timeless tales rooted in India. Here you'll find gentle, thoughtful tales drawn from our rich storytelling traditions, from ancient fables and folklore to heartwarming slices of modern Indian life. Each story is carefully chosen and lovingly crafted to be age appropriate and calming, with just a touch of wonder. So come, get cozy, and let the story begin. Hi, I'm Shalini, your storyteller. Today's story is a very special one because this story has been created just for one very special listener. This is a birthday story for superhero Harvey, who is turning 7 today. Harvey, this story has been made especially for you with so much love from your mummy and daddy. And this is their message to you. Happy birthday to the kindest, thoughtful, sweetest, most loving and helpful child in the world. And from all of us here at Oak Tree Stories, happy birthday. We hope this story becomes one you come back to again and again. All right then, find a comfortable place, take a deep breath, and let's begin. It was a bright Sunday morning when Harvey and his friends Kiara and Alaya went on a picnic with their families. Their mothers spread a large picnic blanket across a grassy hillside overlooking the city below. Far in the distance, tall buildings sparkled in the sunshine. Tiny cars wound their way along busy roads, looking no bigger than colorful toy blocks. Nearby, butterflies danced from flower to flower. A pair of squirrels chased each other up the trunk of an old banyan tree. The hillside felt peaceful. While the grown-ups unpacked lunch, the three friends wandered around the hillside together. They balanced along fallen logs, searched for interesting pebbles, and tried to spot butterflies with the brightest wings. Then Harvey suddenly stopped. That's strange. What is? Asked Kiara. Harvey pointed towards a huge grey boulder, half hidden behind a patch of bushes. I'm sure that wasn't there a minute ago. Kiara laughed. A rock can't just appear. Maybe I simply didn't notice it, Harvey admitted with a grin. Come on. The three friends wandered over together. Up close, the boulder looked even stranger. Its surface was smooth in some places and rough in others, as though wind and rain had been shaping it for hundreds and hundreds of years. Then Harvey spotted it. Right in the middle of the rock was an unusual marking. It wasn't a crack, it wasn't a scratch. It looked almost as though something had pressed into the stone long ago, leaving behind the perfect outline of something. Kiara tilted her head. It looks like a leaf. Alaya squinted. I think it looks more like a flower. Harvey crouched beside the rock. He gently brushed away a few dry leaves that had settled inside the marking. Little by little, its shape became clearer. His eyes widened. I don't think it's either. He traced the edge of it with one finger. See these three long toes? And this rounded part here? His voice became quieter with excitement. It looks just like a dinosaur footprint. Kiara blinked. In a rock? Harvey nodded eagerly. Fossilized footprints are real. Dinosaurs walked across soft mud millions of years ago. Sometimes the mud turned into rock and the footprints stayed behind. Alaya looked amazed. So, a dinosaur might really have stood here? Harvey smiled. Maybe. He couldn't help himself. Very carefully, he placed his hand inside the footprint. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then, a soft golden glow appeared beneath his hand. The children froze. The light slowly spread through the footprint like sunlight flowing through tiny cracks. A gentle humming rose from deep inside the rock. That's definitely not normal, said Kiara. The humming grew louder. The breeze began swirling around them. Leaves lifted into the air. The grass rippled in circles around the boulder. Alaya reached for Harvey's hand. I think we should step back. I can't, Harvey whispered. It's like it's holding my hand. The golden light grew brighter, brighter, and brighter until the children had to squeeze their eyes shut. Everything around them seemed to spin. The warm sunshine disappeared. The sounds of the city faded away. The laughter of their mothers grew quieter and quieter until there was only silence. A warm breeze brushed across Harvey's face. He slowly opened one eye, then the other. For a moment, none of the three children spoke. The hillside had disappeared. So had the city. Instead, towering green plants stretched high into the sky. Not ordinary trees. Great tree ferns spread their feathery leaves like giant umbrellas. Thick vines twisted around ancient trunks. Strange plants with stiff, spiky leaves covered the forest floor. The air smelled rich and earthy, as though it had just rained. Everything felt older, much older. A dragonfly drifted past. Harvey stared. It was almost as big as a pigeon. Its shimmering wings sparkled like tiny pieces of glass in the sunlight. I've never seen a dragonfly that big, whispered Kiara. Harvey smiled. I have. His friends looked at him. In my dinosaur books. Before either of them could reply, the ground gave a gentle rumble. Thud. A few birds burst out of the trees. Thud. The children instinctively looked around. Thud. Something enormous was coming. Harvey's heart began to race. A huge shape emerged between the towering ferns. Long before they saw its head, they saw its legs. Each one was thicker than the trunk of an old tree. Then its impossibly long neck slowly rose above the forest canopy until its tiny head disappeared into the leaves high above. It calmly pulled a mouthful of greenery from the tallest branches. Harvey's mouth fell open. A brachiosaurus, he whispered. It's really a brachiosaurus. None of them moved. The giant dinosaur wasn't interested in them at all. It simply carried on eating its breakfast. Harvey couldn't stop smiling. Do you know why Brachiosaurus is one of my favorites? His friends shook their heads. Because its front legs were longer than its back legs. He pointed excitedly. See? That's what lets it reach leaves that other dinosaurs couldn't. As though to prove Harvey right, the enormous dinosaur stretched even higher and plucked another leafy branch. Kiara laughed softly. I can't believe you know all this. Harvey grinned. I've been practicing for this moment my whole life. Just then, another movement caught his eye. Something much lower to the ground wandered slowly into a nearby clearing. Its back was covered with huge bony plates that glowed in the sunshine. Its powerful tail swayed gently behind it. At the end, 4 sharp spikes. A stegosaurus, Harvey whispered, almost bouncing with excitement. It really is. The stegosaurus scratched its side against the rough bark of a tree before continuing on its way. Harvey watched it disappear into the forest. Then he looked all around him. Brachiosaurus, he murmured. Stegosaurus. He slowly turned in a circle. A smile spread across his face. I know where we are. Kiara looked at him expectantly. We are in the Jurassic period. He could hardly believe he was saying the words aloud. The dinosaurs we're seeing, they all lived millions and millions of years ago. And somehow, we are here. For a few long moments, the 3 children simply stood there. No one knew what to say. Harvey had imagined dinosaurs hundreds of times before. He had seen them in books. He had built them from blocks. He had even memorized the name of dinosaurs that most grown-ups had never heard of. But no book had prepared him for all of this. The forest felt alive. Somewhere nearby, insects chirped so loudly they almost sounded like tiny rattles. Every now and then, the leaves high above rustled, though there wasn't the slightest breeze. Something was moving through the trees. Something enormous. Do you think we should explore? Asked Kiara quietly. Harvey looked around. I think, he smiled, I think we'd be silly not to. The 3 friends set off along a narrow path between the towering plants. Every few steps, Harvey stopped to look at something. Those are cycads, he said, pointing to a cluster of short, sturdy plants with stiff leaves growing in a circle. They look a little bit like palm trees, but they're much older. Older than dinosaurs? Asked Alaya. Harvey laughed. Some of them are. A few moments later, they heard splashing. Carefully peeking through the leaves, they found a wide, shallow river. A whole herd of Brachiosaurus stood in the water. Some drank quietly. Others stretched their long necks into the treetops. One much smaller Brachiosaurus stood between 2 enormous adults. It's a baby, whispered Alaya. The little dinosaur tried to reach the leaves overhead. It stretched and stretched and stretched. Its tiny mouth still couldn't reach. Harvey giggled. I think it's going to need a few more years. Almost as if it heard him, one of the adults bent its neck and gently lowered a leafy branch within reach. The little Brachiosaurus happily began munching. Aw, whispered Alaya. I didn't know dinosaurs could be so gentle. They probably weren't all scary, Harvey said. Lots of them just wanted breakfast. The 3 friends watched quietly for a while before continuing deeper into the forest. Suddenly, a blur shot across the path. Then another, and then another. Tiny dinosaurs no bigger than chickens darted between the ferns so quickly that Kiara almost missed them. What were those? She asked. Compsognathus. They're one of the smallest dinosaurs. They're so tiny, Alea laughed. Harvey grinned. I know. I always imagined they'd be much bigger. I think that's the funny thing about seeing dinosaurs for real. They're not always what you expect. A deep rumbling interrupted him. Far away, something roared. Not angrily, just loud enough to remind everyone else in the forest that it was there. The children instinctively moved a little closer together. What was that? Whispered Alea. Harvey listened carefully. I'm not sure, but he looked around thoughtfully. If we're in the Jurassic, it might have been an Allosaurus. Kiara swallowed. The meat-eating one? Harvey nodded. But it's far away. And anyway, he smiled reassuringly, I don't think we are very interesting to it. Alea laughed. I've never been this happy to be boring before. They continued walking, talking quietly as they went. It felt less like walking through a forest and more like walking through one of Harvey's favorite dinosaur books. Suddenly, they heard a squeak. Harvey stopped. Did you hear that? Kiara nodded. It sounded like squeak. A baby, whispered Alea. Harvey gently parted the giant fern leaves. Nestled between them was the smallest dinosaur he had ever seen. Its eyes were bright and curious. A tiny frill framed its face. 3 little horns, no bigger than his thumb, peeked from its head. Harvey couldn't help smiling. A baby triceratops. The little dinosaur looked up at him. Then it gave another tiny squeak. Harvey's smile faded. His forehead wrinkled. Wait a minute. Kiara looked at him. What is it? Harvey didn't answer straight away. Instead, he looked from the little dinosaur to the towering Brachiosaurus in the distance, then back again. Finally, he shook his head. No, that can't be right. Alea frowned. What's not right? Harvey knelt down, still staring at the tiny dinosaur. The Triceratops didn't live in the Jurassic. It lived much, much later. He looked around the forest again. Brachiosaurus, Stegosaurus, Compsognathus, they all belong here. He looked back at the hatchling. But this little one doesn't. It's in the wrong time. The hatchling lowered its head. It let out another quiet little squeak. This one sounded lonelier than the first. Without thinking, Alea slowly sat down on the ground a little way from it. She didn't reach towards it. She simply waited. It's all right, she said. We're not going to hurt you. The little dinosaur watched her carefully. Harvey stayed perfectly still too. I think it's frightened, he whispered. So let's let it decide. For several long moments, nothing happened. Then the hatchling took one cautious step forward. Another, and then it waddled straight towards Harvey. Harvey held his breath. The little dinosaur sniffed his shoe. Then very gently, it rubbed its tiny frill against the back of his hand. Harvey smiled. I think we've just made a new friend. The little Triceratops stayed close to Harvey as the 3 friends continued through the forest. Every now and then, it would stop to sniff an unusual plant or investigate a shiny pebble before hurrying to catch up again. Once it wandered a little too close to a stegosaurus. The enormous dinosaur slowly swished its spiky tail. The hatchling gave a startled squeak and scampered straight back behind Harvey's legs. Harvey laughed softly. I think that's your way of telling us you don't want to be left behind. The little dinosaur peeked out from behind him before giving his hand another gentle nudge. Kiara smiled. I think it likes you. I like it too, Harvey admitted, but we still have to help it get home. As soon as he said the words, an idea began to form. He stopped walking. Kiara, Alea, if this little one isn't supposed to be here, how did it get here in the first place? His friends looked at one another. The rock, said Kiara. The one on the hillside. Harvey nodded. It brought us here. Maybe it brought the baby here too. Alea looked around at the endless forest. But where would we find another rock this big? Harvey frowned thoughtfully. I don't know, but if there's a way into this time, there must be a way back. So the four companions set off once more. As they wandered, Harvey kept looking for anything that seemed unusual. Nothing seemed out of place. Until Kiara stopped. Look! She pointed towards the ground. Nestled among the roots of an enormous tree was a patch of soft golden moss. It shimmered ever so slightly in the sunlight. That's strange, she said. I don't think we've seen moss like this anywhere else. The children knelt beside it. The tiny triceratops sniffed it curiously. Then, without hesitation, it began walking alongside the glowing patch. The moss continued ahead in a narrow trail. It's leading somewhere, whispered Alea. The children followed it. The trail wound through the forest, across a bubbling stream, between giant tree ferns, up a gentle hill. At the very top stood an enormous stone. It was even larger than the one they had found on the hillside. Harvey ran towards it. It is the same stone. Then he stopped. No, it's older. Or perhaps, he thought with a smile, newer. Unlike the weathered boulder they had touched earlier, this stone was smooth. Not a single crack crossed its surface. And instead of one lonely footprint, dozens covered the rock. Some were enormous. Some were tiny. Some had long, narrow toes. Others were round and wide. Harvey slowly walked around the stone. His eyes grew wider with every step. A stegosaurus footprint, he whispered. A brachiosaurus. Diplodocus. He paused again. Allosaurus. Kiara looked at him in surprise. You can tell just by the footprints? Harvey nodded. Every dinosaur's feet were different. He smiled, just like ours. The little triceratops wandered from one glowing footprint to another. It lifted one tiny foot, hesitated, and stepped back. Then it tried another. Again it paused. It looked confused. I don't think it knows which one is its own, said Alea softly. Harvey knelt beside the hatchling. It's all right. We'll work it out together. He looked carefully at its little feet. 3 sturdy toes, a broad shape. He slowly turned back towards the stone, one footprint after another. A smile spread across his face. I found it. He pointed to a footprint almost hidden among the others. This one, it matches perfectly. The little Triceratops looked from Harvey to the footprint and back again. Harvey gently stroked its tiny frill. I think this is your way home. For a moment, the little dinosaur didn't move. Instead, it leaned against Harvey's hand one last time, just as it had when they first met. Harvey smiled. I'll miss you too. The hatchling gave one happy little squeak, then with one brave step, it placed its feet inside the glowing footprint. At once, golden light spread across the stone. One by one, every footprint began to glow. The children watched in amazement as the ancient rock shimmered with warm golden light. The little Triceratops looked back one last time. Then it disappeared. For a long moment, none of the children spoke. Harvey walked slowly around the stone once more. His fingers traced the outline of the different footprints. Then something occurred to him. The footprint we found on the hillside, he said softly, wasn't the only one. Kiara looked at him. What do you mean? Harvey smiled. Millions of years of wind and rain must have worn the others away. By the time we found the stone, only one footprint was still visible. The golden light slowly faded. The forest became peaceful once again. Harvey looked at the empty footprint and smiled. I hope you find your family. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the stone began to hum again. The same warm golden light surrounded the three friends. It's our turn, whispered Kiara. The light wrapped around them like a gentle breeze. The Jurassic forest slowly melted away. The towering ferns disappeared. The giant dragonflies disappeared. The warm, ancient air was replaced by the cool breeze of a sunny afternoon. When Harvey opened his eyes, they were standing beside the weathered boulder once again. The city stretched out below them exactly as before. From across the grass, one of their mothers called, Lunch is ready. Come and wash your hands. The three friends looked at one another. Had they really just spent an afternoon in the Jurassic? Harvey gave the old stone one last look. To anyone else, it was just an old boulder on a grassy hill. But Harvey knew better. Somewhere beneath its weathered surface, the rest of the footprints was still waiting. And whenever he thought about dinosaurs, he couldn't help but smile. Because for one unforgettable afternoon, he hadn't just read about the Jurassic. He had actually been there. And that was a very special story created just for Harvey on his 7th birthday. Once again, happy birthday, Harvey. This story comes with so much love from your mummy and daddy who wanted to give you an adventure as extraordinary as your imagination. We hope that every time you read about dinosaurs or spot an old rock waiting quietly beside a path, you'll wonder what stories it might be keeping. And who knows, perhaps one day another adventure will be waiting for you. Now to everyone listening, children and grown-ups. If you would like a story made just like this for someone you love, a story where they are the hero, set in a world filled with wonder and made just for them, you can visit us at www.oaktreebooks.in/Oak Tree Stories. That's where you can learn more about our personalized audio stories and how to order one. Until next time, keep wondering, keep exploring, and keep discovering the stories waiting all around you.